In 1889, the greatest of all time, Emanuel Lasker, the second world champion, had this position with the white pieces against the Austrian Johann Bauer. And Lasker was not just a chess player, but a mathematician, a philosopher, all-round talent. In this position, played knight to h5. We have knight takes h5 from Bauer, already a losing mistake. Bishop takes h7, king takes h7, queen takes h5. White is down a full bishop. King g8, and Lasker saying to himself, well, I got rid of one bishop, might as well get rid of the other. Bishop takes g7, king takes g8, queen g4, king h7, rook f3. And how are you going to stop mates here? Bauer plays this move e5, rook h3. Obviously has to give up his queen. We have queen h6, rook takes h6, and after king takes h6, it looks like material is equal. However, after queen to d7 with a double attack on these bishops, white is totally winning. And so in this video, we are going to study this game from the beginning. I found this in Adhiban Bhaskaran's 1b3 course, which I own, which obviously I love to talk about on this channel. It is a game that he mentions. Now, full disclosure, Lasker actually played f4 in the real game in 1889. However, by changing the move order, looking at transpositions, we can treat it as a b3 game. And what I love about this game is that many of the moves black makes would be found in the Lichess database, and it teaches us, the everyday player, about how to utilize the bishop pair to great effect with a short castled king. So let's get to it. We have here b3 from white, knight f6, bishop b2, d5, e3, and now e6. And I can tell you already in the Lichess database, this has been seen over 2.5 million times. When I play b3, I see this setup a lot. Normally, I'm going to go and play knight f3, but there is an alternative move here, which is to play f4. And here we have good control over the e5 square. Black responds with bishop to e7, popular move. And then there's this unusual, slightly dubious looking move from Lasker, bishop to g3. And so, yes, the bishops are looking great here, fast development. However, the bishop is also ahead of its own central pawn. We're taught not to do this as beginners and intermediates, but chess is a game of exceptions. In this position, it's okay. We have here b6, knight f3, bishop b7, knight to c3. And now pay attention to this knight. It's going to go from b1 to c3 to e2 to g3 and then to h5. And that's a procedure that you want to remember. It's possible and available to you. We have a knight on b to d7, castles, knight to e2, c5. I've talked a lot about on my channel about playing c5. If you can play c5, it's okay in this position. Just note that I think knight to c5, the top engine move, makes a lot of sense because I believe white is just going to have to give up its bishop pair. But okay, we have c5 from black. It's not losing. Knight to g3, queen to c7, knight to e5, and this horrible move by black. Never do stuff like this. To take is a mistake. Inviting pressure here. We have bishop takes e5. The queen is hanging. We have queen to c6. Look at that battering ram. That's looking a bit scary. Maybe d4 is going to be a problem here for white. Lasker in this position coolly plays this move queen to e2. Obviously guarding the g2 square, but threatening bishop b5, which would be extremely annoying. The queen would have just one square. So black in this position plays a6, and this is where the mayhem begins. We have knight to h5. White is already doing well, but knight takes h5 here is the losing mistake. Once again, Bauer is showing his tendencies to take when he shouldn't be. We have bishop takes h7, king takes h7, queen takes h5, king g8, and amazingly, Lasker goes for a double bishop sacrifice here. Bishop takes g7, king takes g7, queen g4 check. Why not a rook lift straight away? Because then the king could start escaping. So we have queen g4 check, forcing the king onto the h file. If it moves to f6, we obviously have checkmate here on g5. We have rook to f3, and how are you going to stop mates? e5, rook to h3. Obviously, you're not going to just hang your bishop. You have to give up the queen. Rook takes h6, king takes h6. And in this position, after queen to d7, there's a double attack on the bishop pair. Black is going to go down material. In this position, actually, it's equal material, but obviously one bishop has to go. Bishop f6, queen takes b7, king to g7, rook f1, rook on a to b8, Queen to d7, the other rook slides over to d8, queen g4 check, king f8. F takes e5, and black cannot take. Black cannot take. You do your tactics pause the whole time, I know, guys. Because after queen to f5, there is a double attack. You're obviously attacking the bishop, but you'd be threatening mate here on f7, and there's no time to save the bishop. So Boyer goes back here to g7. We have e6, very natural. Rook to b7, queen g6, f6, rook takes f6, bishop takes f6, queen takes f6, king to e8, queen h8 check, king e7, queen g7, the king gobbles up a pawn. We have queen takes b7, and for some reason Boyer plays on for a little bit. We have here rook to d6, queen takes a6, d4, c takes, e takes d4, c takes d4, h4, and after d3, Lasker plays this awesome move, gangster move. Queen takes d3. Go ahead, take my queen. He obviously has a million pawns to convert the game. And it was in this position that black resigned. And it was a spectacular victory. And what I love about this is that many of us could adopt this setup with the white pieces. If you look at it carefully, what exactly has white done here in this position? So we have here the bishops on this diagonal. And obviously white has put the bishop there early in front of its central pawn. But it's also played here b3, e3, and f4, which facilitates this knight jump to h5. The queen can get involved, and also the rook can perform a lift here to f3 and h3. So there you go. Something insightful for our games. Hope you enjoyed that. Leave a comment below. Thank you very much for your time.